All right, special event number 1, Formula One Rolex Belgian Grand Prix. There's a lot to unpack here. Um, so, well, let's hop in. All right, so what is it and when is it? Well, we all know what it is. It's a Grand Prix event at Spa, Formula One event to win 2020 season car of our choice. You don't necessarily have to pick the car you race throughout the event, apparently. It's a little odd choice, but they are leaving it completely open. You can race one car and win another. So they're kind of decoupling the event and reward cars, which is all right. That's their predicament. And it is, of course, open now to run. And the PR requirement for this event varies depending on the car or the team you choose. And that varying degree coincides with the base PR, whichever car you choose. So essentially what that means is regardless of which team you choose, which car you choose, the tuning cost is going to cost you exactly the same. So the PR you need to, so here, required PR is between 122.8 and 123.2. So there's a 0.4 PR point difference at the bottom and the top. And that is reflected in the base PR of the cars that's featured in the 2020 season. Mercedes AMG, of course, coming out with the highest PR, base PR of 116. So if you decide to go with the Mercedes, your PR requirement at the end of the event will be 123.2. If you decide to go with, let's say, pick Red Bull Racing, which has 0.1 shy of the 116. So Red Bull Racing starts at 115.9. So your final PR requirement is 0.1 PR point lower than the Mercedes. So it'll be 123.1. And then so on and so forth. So by the way, in terms of the 2020 season Formula One cars, the Mercedes by itself with the base PR of 116 and Red Bull Racing is by itself at 115.9. And then the remaining 8 teams basically share 4 teams with the higher PR of 115.8 and the other lower tier PR of 115.6. So higher PR one, we got Renault, we got Ferrari, McLaren, and Racing Point. So those 4 teams, their base PR starts at 115.8, and because you are starting with a lower PR, your required PR is a little bit lower as well, and it'll be 123 even, right? And then if you decide to go with the lowest PR cars or teams, we got Alfa Romeo, Alfa Tauri, and Haas and Williams, right? So those guys, you're starting from 115.6. So your PR requirement is going to be 122.8. So, and the cost to, tuning setup you see here on the screen. We got 9 tuning setups available, so 9 tiers available for gearbox mapping. Of course, that deals with the top speed. And then the power unit optimization, there are 6 tiers, and that deals with acceleration. And then the next category is brakes calibration. There are 7 tiers. well, it's brakes, so stopping distance, right? And then the last category is suspension adjustment, which deals with your grip, right? And there are 6 tiers of tuning available. So to meet the PR requirement without relying on driver level up, which costs gold, or team principal level up, which also costs gold. So basically, if you don't want to spend any gold and just rely on motorsport dollars to bring your car's PR up to meet the requirement, then the cheapest way, I believe, is to go with tier 6 upgrade on gearbox mapping, 5 on power unit optimization and brakes calibration each category, and then back to 6 on suspension adjustments. So 6556 will get you exactly to the required PR of whichever team you decide to go with, where there are essentially 4 varieties, right? And the cost in motorsport dollars, it's going to cost you 2,215,900 motorsport dollars to get all those tuning, right? And at the end of the event, you get to keep those tunings, by the way. And yeah, so that's what you'll be set with. And unlike the last event, you know how we got the team principal earned XP points per tuning that we got, right? So even when you max out all the tuning setups for Belgian Grand Prix, you actually don't earn enough XP, principal XP, to max out the principal. So that will take multiple events, as it turns out. So yeah, and the cost of leveling up your team principal is okay. It's cheaper than the driver level up, but still gonna be it's gonna get costly in terms of gold. So that's the thing that deals with gold. You know what? Let's go into the event itself and talk, shall we? We got 10 teams, 20 racers, the usual suspect. We got Mercedes, AMG, Petronas, Formula One team, and then we got the BWT Racing Point. And let's review. So starting from the top one more time. So Mercedes, right? They're starting at 116 even PR point, the highest PR, and with the tunings, you will end up with the highest PR as well. All right, and then the second tier team by itself is going to be the Red Bull Racing, the Aston Martin Red Bull Racing. And then the third tier, also before I go on, the second tier, 115.9. I'll have all this information in the description box of the video below. So if I lose you, don't worry. You can just look at the description box. All right, so those are 2 teams on their own PR. Now the third category, if you will, is going to be the PR 115.8. We've got, as I said, Ferrari. We got McLaren. We got Renault. And we got Racing Point. So these are, if you're kind of going through the list of teams from the left side, left column, it's basically organized by the PR in a way. And then the remaining 4, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Team Haas, and Williams Racing, of course, they have the lower PR in the group, 115.6. So, who should we pick? Let's just pick Mercedes. Why not? And we'll go with the star, Lewis Hamilton. Right. And yes, motorsports special events require a tuning setup for their unique race conditions. We are at Spa, so top speed is the focus of Spa. But this setup also allows for lateral grip to carry high speeds through the track's sweeping turns. And each Grand Prix event you complete, you get to win these tuning setups that you can switch back and forth depending on which track you want to race it. So yeah, so after the first event, there's going to be only one tuning setup, so there's not much to, strategize. But once you start unlocking multiple, you can have a particular card sort of assigned to a particular track, if that makes sense. Have a certain tuning setup, because if you switch tuning setup, I believe it will cost. The first one's free, but after that it will start to cost you. So you don't want to have to wait for the tunings to be done between the races. So that's the way I'm understanding this. But anyway, yeah, this as I said, there's a lot to unpack here. So 5-day special event, by the way. All 5 stages are unlocked right away. So, and I believe there's a 3-hour instant service and instant tuning available. So as soon as you start the event, that is going to be there. Right, yep, 3 hours for both instant service and instant R&D on the tuning. And yeah, we're getting more and more stuff on this screen, right? We got the service bar or service screen tab, we got the tuning tab, got the driver tab, and we got the team principal tab. Yikes. I don't know. Seems to be getting more convoluted. I see what they're trying to do. But for someone like me, the old timer, I think this is getting a little bit more on a convoluted side of things for a mobile racing game. But that's just my opinion. Okay, so base PR, as I said, 116. So let's talk about this. By the way, because the tuning is going to be available even after the event is over, so you don't necessarily have to get all 9 steps of gearbox mapping tuning during the event. You only need to get what you need to get to complete the event. And you can put more on to essentially have your team principal earn more XP. So eventually you can max out the team principal XP. Right. And yeah. And if you decide to fully get every tuning available for this event, then it is going to cost you some 3.3 million, so 3,313,100 motorsport dollars. And as you can see, I don't have that kind of money in my bank, so I cannot even show you how to get all of them. But if you are rich, that's what you can do. But let's talk about getting these PR requirement met. So as I said, the PR requirement is going to be for Mercedes. It's going to be 123.2. And the way we're going to get it is basically getting 6 upgrades or 6 steps of tunings on the gearbox mapping. So let's go ahead and do all of them. And each tuning will earn 150 principal XP. So that doesn't change. That hasn't changed since last one, except what's different with this event compared to, let's say, the Formula E that we did last time, is that the principal XP that you have to spend to level up start to cost more XP points. So that's where they get you. All right, so step 5, and we're gonna need one more. Will get us step 6. So that's all we're gonna need for the gearbox mapping. And the power unit optimization, we're gonna need 5 in this category. And yeah, regardless of how much these tuning costs are, the principal XP gained, of course, is all the same, 150 points. There we go. Three steps done. 2 more we're gonna need here. And 1 more to complete the power unit optimization tuning. Let's move on to the next category, brakes calibration. We're gonna need 5 here as well. And of course, by completing this event, there you do earn a bit of motorsport dollars as well, right? Like, you know, you have your each race payout is going to be in motorsport dollars. And upon completing each stage, you also win some extra motorsport dollar bonus, which totals up to be 200,000. You know, and that does not count against your daily limit. So that's, you know, something. And then, of course, there's also 50 gold total to be won. So not a whole lot, but hey, it's better than nothing, right? All right, so that is all we're gonna need for brakes, calibration, and finally we need to max out suspension adjustment by getting all 6. And as you can see here, yeah, we're still gonna, the team principal is still gaining XP with all these tune-ups. Because if you remember from Formula E event last time, after I think you got 16 tune-ups, the rest basically didn't count because the principal XP was maxed out. But not so much this time around. Okay, so there's the 5, and then finally There we go. All right, so that wiped out my Motorsport dollar bank account there, but the PR is exactly 123.2 with a boost of 7.1 PR point that we got from all these tune-ups. Right, and then if we check out the team principal here, so we accumulated 3,300 XP points, and if you decide to spend all of it, you should be able to bring your principal level up to, I want to say, level 9. And just about every level up gives you 0.2 PR point boost. So with a 9 level up to 9 level, that'll be 1.6 PR points higher because we're starting from 1. So I think that's how it works, right? Let's see, yeah. So each... Oh, the first one is going to be only 0.1 PR point boost. Never mind. Just goes on to show you. Yeah, doesn't matter which category you decide to focus the research on. It's going to be 0.1 PR point boost. Never mind. So that, yeah, PR boost from leveling up your team principal is fairly minor, but it's gonna, 9 gold, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things isn't that expensive. So there are possibility of 12 categories basically that you can assign the principal level ups towards, because each level is essentially research. So, and they do cost gold, so can get pretty pricey. So for now, we won't talk about that right now. And the driver, let's see, driver level for the Formula One goes up to 7, level 7. Let's see, once you max out driver level, that's kind of like fully upgraded car equivalent. So you get, I don't think you get double service bars, but what you get is you get the invitational series unlocked, and I also believe you have unlimited time trial drives. I think that's what you get. And when you max out team principal, I want to say that's how you get the double service bars. I think. I cannot confirm because as I said, we don't have enough tune-ups available on just from a single Grand Prix event to really be able to confirm that. So, and by the way, you can actually, without having to drive, if you really don't want to, if you're in a time crunch, you can actually level up your driver with Motorsport dollars, as you can see. And then you can skip the leveling up time of your driver by watching ads or whatever. So yeah, that's interesting how they decide to go with this. Anyway, I'm not gonna be racing through this one, not in this video. I just wanted to show you guys sort of a rundown of what to expect strategy wise, how much things are gonna cost. And so if you don't have any funds in your bank account, you're gonna have to farm for 9 days to accumulate enough Motorsport dollars to be able to afford all the tune-ups that you're gonna need. unless you plan on spending gold in upgrading team principal and drivers. Then, then you get to save on motorsport dollars, but then you spend gold, which I still think is harder to accumulate. So I would say farm for motorsport dollars and then pay with that to win the car. Especially with the current setting, we actually get to keep the tuning. So that's not for nothing, unlike in the past. Alright, so, and the skipping cost for this Grand Prix event is actually in gold currency, so they know what's up. But we'll just run through the series real quick here. So, stage 1 is basically gonna be all 10 gold to skip, 4 golds available, and there's no PR requirement. So if you even if you cannot afford, well, there really shouldn't be any reason why you shouldn't be able to afford motorsport dollars. Farm for 9 days, as I said. They have increased the daily cap to 250,000. So if you farm for 9 days, you should be able to afford all the tuning that you need, and then you can run through this series in one swoop. There are only 21 goals. Shouldn't take too long to run through, right? So, but yeah. Stage 1, there is no PR requirement, but there is gold reward at the end. So that's something. So if you can see here, yep, still no PR requirement. And at the end of stage 1, you get to pick up some 20,000 motorsport dollars as the stage completion reward, along with 5 gold. And of course, these completion rewards, as I said earlier, don't count against your daily cap. And you can just run straight through all 5 stages. See, stage 2 already unlocked. You don't have to wait between stages for new day. Now the skipping cost up to 20 gold now. Still no PR requirement yet. That is until we get to the final goal of stage 2, where we're gonna have for Mercedes, it's gonna be 118, I believe is what they're gonna require. Right, yada yada yada. Still nothing there. Skip real quick. And yes, 118 for stage 2 completion. And for completing stage 2, you will pick up 30,000 motorsport dollar reward, plus another 5 gold. So if you're racing, let's say like Team Haas, who starts off with 115.6, your PR requirement to complete the stage 2 is going to be 117.6, exactly 0.4 PR point lower than when you're running with Mercedes. All right, and stage 3, the same PR requirement carries on. Now the 30 gold is the skipping cost. And only time we're gonna have a PR requirement bump in the stage is gonna be when we reach the end. So still 118, as you can see. And it gets bumped up to 119.6. So the range of PR requirement here is going to be 119.2 up to 119.6, depending on the car. All right, and for stage 3 completion, you will pick up 40,000 motorsport dollars and plus 10 gold, I believe. Yes. Right. Now, not that it matters. In stage 4, I believe they kind of goofed up one of the challenges with the, I think it's a second goal that's got kind of a funny PR requirement. We'll see it in the next one. So here, so now the skipping cost up to 50 gold. I think I caught this on my other account when I was looking through. The PR requirement is 119. What's with that? They messed that one up, but it's a moot point because in order to get this far, you're gonna need the, 109.6 for Mercedes, unless you spend gold to skip, which is just silly. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. And then it's back up to 109.6. So yeah, as I was saying, it's just moot point, but kind of silly. And then we're at the end of another stage, stage 4 finale. So that means we get a PR point boost or PR requirement boost up to 121.2, which means it's a range of 120.8 up to 121.2. And no, we're skipping. And then for stage 4 completion, you will pick up 60,000 motorsport dollars. Right. And another 10 gold for gold reward. Right. And then the final stage, we still carry on the same PR from previous stage, at least up till now. This stage has 5 goals. Up till 3rd goal, we're gonna have this kind of the same skipping cost of 80 gold and the same PR requirement, 121.2 for Mercedes here. And then once we get to the final 2 goals, we're going to get the final PR requirement. So this is the last one with this PR, 121.2 or 80 gold to skip. And then skipping cost is going to get bumped up to 120 gold. And the final PR requirement for Mercedes is going to be, as you can see, 123.2 for both final goals. So basically the range of 122.8 for lower PR cars and 123.2 for the highest, like this guy, Mercedes. All right. And then the final goal, 123.2 for Mercedes and skipping cost 120. And once you complete the final goal, you get to pick up the remaining 50,000 motorsport dollar reward. Along with remaining 20 gold. And you get to pick a car. So as I said at the early in the video, you get to choose whichever car you want. So you don't have to necessarily, if you didn't like Mercedes after going through the event, you can choose to pick up a different car, but that would be kind of a waste. You know what I mean? Because all the resources that you spent on driver level up, driver XP basically, and principal XP, you wouldn't be able to take advantage of those. You will still be able to take advantage of the tuning setups, right? So if I decide to, let's say, go with the Red Bull Racing instead of, and of course it unlocks the champion series. No PR requirement. As long as you own a car, 2020 season car, you can race there. The Invitational is, of course, the one that you cannot race until you fully upgrade your driver. So that's another reason why I would say, pick up the car that you've been racing. Right. So once you win the car, of course, you can race in Champion Series. And the usual, sort of like the 2019 season, we got 5 venues. But if you're thinking, hey, we have a new venue now, Spa, something's gotta go, right? Well, Suzuka is gone. So Suzuka got the short end of the stick here. We got Silverstone, we got Spa, we got Monza, we got Circuit of the Americas, and of course we got Yas Marina. But no Suzuka for 2020, both Champion Series and the Invitational Series. And as you can see, it tells you need your driver level to max out the 7 basically, which essentially is going to cost you gold to race here. So you can, so once you got the tune-ups, you can install your tune-up, and per Grand Prix event you complete, you get to fill in those other tuning setups in the inventory screen here. Since there's only one, it does not even allow me to scroll, but you can kind of tell. It looks like, there we go. You can scroll. There are 9 slots in the inventory because there are 9 Grand Prix events. So, and you can install that. First one is free, but and you also get to have the team principal earn the XP for doing that. Just 25 points, not much, but hey, it's not for nothing. And as I said, you can go back to inventory to switch between different tuning setups, or you can get more tune-ups, as I mentioned earlier. So you can get this guy, for example, and you will earn more principal points or XP points to level him up, right? But of course, he's starting from scratch because the Team Mercedes, right? Principal got all the points from the event. So this is not the best way to do it. You should really get the guy, the team that you used to race the actual event to win, at least for the first event. Then once you have that, then you can, in the next one, you can do the other one. Pick another team or pick another car or whatever. You know what I mean. So anyway, so that is, as I said, kind of convoluted. A lot of information to unpack, but hopefully that made sense to you guys. So, all right. well, good luck to you, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.